Heavy hits and house calls, all that and more on this week's episode of Weekly Wrestling Chat. This is the first episode.
Yeah.
So, I'm Nick the Iceman, and...
my name is Danny Marvelous.
And we are here with the Weekly Wrestling Chat, which is just going to be a series where we just kind of go over the shows of the week.
Yep, every single one of them.
Every single one, even the ones I forgot to watch.
Yeah, even those.
But yeah, I guess we could just hop into it.
All right, well, how about we start off with a little news? Talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, so number one thing that we got to talk about is the Sasha Banks injury, all right? So we literally know nothing about it at all. Don't know what it is. Don't know when she's going to come back, but we know that she's injured. It's pretty much the whole deal.
Yeah, and they've kind of like been hush about it.
Yeah, which is, I think, kind of weird.
Yeah, they usually, if someone's injured, will just be like, hey, they're injured, that's why they're not in.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, this is coming at a really bad time for Sasha Banks. Evolution's coming up, and...
they're trying to do the whole tag team thing with her and
Bailey. Yeah. But, you know, that's unfortunately just the way the business is. But we need to talk about... I think that she could actually benefit from this. All right? Here's a hot take for you. All right, so... usually when WWE has somebody come back off injury, they have them get pumped up. Like, they put them over. You know?
Yeah, like what they did with Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, exactly. So, Sasha Banks being injured gets her out of this storyline hell that she has been in for the past year. Because we had the whole Bailey going kind of heel for a minute and then not at all. They went back on that right away. There was couples counseling. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I didn't mind the after effect, like them being a tag team. The name could use a little work, but
yeah.
I didn't mind that when they started getting back into the groove of things. But yeah, the whole lead up to it with, like you said, the counseling was kind of cringy.
Yeah, exactly. And then they never even pulled a trigger on it. So I think her coming back and then getting that push after injury is going to put her almost into a title picture.
Yeah, I can see them. It's kind of like hitting the reset button with her.
Yeah, exactly.
Setting her in a different direction.
All right. But other thing that we have to talk about as far as news goes is for the second time this year, Raw has hit the lowest rating on television that they've ever hit.
Yeah, I saw that.
And so it's just like something is disconnecting here.
Yeah, we've had this discussion before about how even though Raw is supposed to be the flagship show, SmackDown, I feel like, is probably the best show in the lineup right now.
Yeah, exactly.
They've just done so much. They've kept the storylines interesting. A lot of the matches have just been more interesting.
Same number of storylines, too.
Yeah.
Raw seems kind of slow at sometimes. So.
Yeah, and like there's a whole division that's just done better on SmackDown. The whole tag team division on SmackDown is so much better.
Oh, absolutely. The Raw division, tag team division is probably the who's who of not stars.
Yeah, we've got a couple, but especially since the Matt Hardy injury, unfortunately.
Yeah, and so that gets rid of the Leaders of Worlds, and then...
which was like the flagship tag team on Raw for a while.
I mean, your biggest name there for a little while was the B Team, which no offense to those guys, I really enjoyed them, but it's a joke.
Yeah. So hopefully we can get some more interesting threads for Raw and help get the ratings back up with that.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of Raw, we can go ahead and move on to that. So Raw opened with the Shield drama that started the show where they were calling each other out.
Then it took this turn to, hey Dean, you're not appreciated. You don't belong in this group, right?
Yeah. Which, I mean, he's kind of making some valid points.
Oh yeah, especially literally before he got injured, wasn't he feuding with Rollins?
Yeah, he did have issues with him. They had a falling out, and they actually bring that up. Dolph Ziggler at one point says to him, it wouldn't be the first time that Seth stabbed you in the back.
Yeah, of course.
So they're well aware that there could be a falling out, which I think it came out of nowhere in the beginning of the episode, but I feel like it would be really interesting, especially if they decide to set up like another iteration of the Four Horsemen.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like that would be a really good team with Braun Strowman, Dolph, Drew, and Dean being the four heel horsemen.
Yeah, see, that'd be so good. But, I mean, I think this Shield breakup storyline has been coming for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we're all... at least I know I'm excited to see where it goes. So.
Yeah, and as far as the breakup goes, it's kind of like pointed at Ambrose. If any of them is going to have a falling out, they're going to give it to the lunatic.
Exactly. He's the guy without a belt. So
yeah.
it just makes the most sense.
I 100% agree. So next up we have the Finn Balor Jinder Mahal match, which was the fluff, I guess, for mixed match.
Yeah. It's basically just to promote the new show that they have going, the new season of Mixed Match Challenge, and it was okay. I mean, I didn't hate this match, but
yeah, it was fun. It was an okay match. I didn't dislike it.
Yeah. I mean, it's Finn Balor. How bad could it be?
Yeah, exactly.
He can drag Jinder Mahal to a decent match.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The end though was a little odd for me.
Yeah. I have to say that like the turn on Singh doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it made no sense.
Like, especially what we know now, later, looking back on how the story continues.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like they tried to semi-pull a trigger on this turn, but that they backed up immediately.
Yeah, you can definitely tell towards, like, throughout the match and then towards the end of it that they're kind of, like, hinting at, like, Jinder Mahal, like, breaking the whole, like, Shanti lifestyle and going back to how
getting,
it was.
Angry enough to take it out on his opponent,
And they have, if you notice at ringside, they have Singh and Fox going at it, like, they're arguing, and
yeah, exactly.
I definitely feel like they're using Alicia Fox as, like, the instigator here. But it just didn't feel like it had enough build-up, and so, like, when he turned on him and just started throwing him around the ring, it just felt completely out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. I honestly don't know what they're going to do with Jinder at all besides this Mixed Match Challenge thing. He's just not as big of a name as he was on SmackDown.
Yeah, he had the one feud with Roman when he came over, but...
Jeez, that was a disastrous match.
Yeah.
That Money in the Bank match.
And it just didn't really go anywhere after that.
Exactly.
And then we have the big event
one that everyone has been talking about.
The Bella Twins and Natalya versus the Riott Squad.
Alright, so obviously there's no going around it. This is the match with the big injury.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. This is major damage to Liv Morgan's head. Gave her a concussion during a move where Brie Bella was trying to do the yes kicks on her.
Yeah. Perfect example of what we don't want to see in a match. Usually if there's a mess up, the good about either rolling into it or covering it up, and then after the match we'd be like, oh, they got injured on that move.
Yeah, exactly.
This is just blatant.
Yeah. And she was out like a light.
And completely fell into the second kick.
Exactly, and that looked like it hurt. And then she tried to turn it into like a botched cover, and then...
Yeah, the kick out was rough to watch.
Yeah,
because she was not in it at all.
And then Brie Bella basically had to drag Liv Morgan to her team's side in order to have Ruby Riott tag in. And the problems didn't stop there.
You see her a few times on the apron.
Yeah.
So, like, you can tell that she at least snaps back a little bit.
And she does perform the 6-woman suplex.
And you can immediately tell afterwards, though, that she is not okay.
Yeah,
and then they cut to commercial. When they come back, she's off to the side with the trainers.
Exactly. But yeah, and then we get another botch from Brie Bella during this match, too, where she collides her elbow into Ruby Riott, who's out on the apron. And Ruby Riott let her know that wasn't okay with her.
Yeah, you can actually see her check to see if her teeth are bleeding after the hit.
She gave her quite a receipt.
Yeah.
But the thing I really want to talk about with this whole... First off, the match was pretty good. I didn't hate this match.
I didn't mind the match at all. I'm not a huge fan of either side.
I really like the Riott Squad, but ever since they got on Raw, they have been used right, in my opinion, so...
I feel like the Superstar shakeup really kind of diminished some people's momentum.
It always does. There's always people who, when they go to a different show, they thrive, and then others that just were thriving, now they aren't.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's just the way it happens. But I want to talk about Brie Bella because, obviously accidents happen in the ring. We can all accept that. That, one or two accidents They happen, but unfortunately at this point we've gotten quite a pattern of behavior with Brie Bella. There were those 2 suicide dives she did on Raw.
That you can tell her feet just clip though.
Yeah, the one was embarrassing for her. The other one looked like she was about to kill herself. Then we got her actually hitting The Miz in that segment. Getting him across the jaw with her fist. And then now we got these 2 major botches. Then we also had her almost rolling out of the Maurice cover at Hell in a Cell. And don't get me wrong, I don't think she should be punished or anything, but all I'm saying is, like, go back to training for 2 weeks and just refamiliarize yourself with your
you can
moveset.
definitely tell she's got ring rust, and it's something that is dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. And so having somebody in there with that kind of creakiness, like, you just need to take a couple weeks and just kind of get your bearings again, I think.
Yeah, and thank goodness Liv Morgan's fine, but she could have not been.
And
there's been several instances where people botch a move and someone's career's over, just like that.
Yeah, exactly. And granted, there have been announcements that, despite some initial anger, that the Riott Squad and Bella Twins are actually on good terms. Outside of kayfabe and stuff like that.
Yeah, I heard they made up backstage.
Yeah, so, anyway, something we really wanted to talk about, because, like, that's what everybody's talking about.
Yeah, and
Twitter's going nuts.
Yeah, it's one of those things that happens on a lesser scale, but just something this blatant in the frame of the camera, and you could immediately tell her reactions slowed, and she immediately dropped.
It was a bad one to watch, honestly.
Oh man, hopefully we'll have updates on how she's doing.
Yeah, and of course, all luck to her with a fast recovery. Hopefully she doesn't miss too much time, but you know, she did get a concussion. She probably won't be around. We might see a change to the Super Showdown match that's supposed to happen next week.
Yeah, I'm hoping she's recovered. If not by then, at least we get another match with them when she's back. So next off, we had, in my opinion, the best match of the week. I really liked the Dolph Ziggler Drew McIntyre Revival match.
It was really good.
Yeah, we've had this conversation before. I'm not a huge fan of the Revival. I don't dislike them, but they're very generic tag team.
Yeah.
They're very throwback-ish. Like, they're not, like, if you look at Dolph and Drew is this, like, hulking, like, Highlander, and then Dolph throwing insults and, like, hyping himself up. And, like, they have an air about them. Whereas the Revival, they're good. And,
Oh, yeah.
But, like, they don't really have, I don't want to say a gimmick, but they don't really have, like, a flair.
Fair enough. But I would argue that most people who watched NXT with them on it were really blown away by just their wrestling ability. And obviously we saw that in Monday's match against Drew McIntyre. Jeez.
Yeah,
when you can stand up with him.
Yeah, I have a few notes actually about a couple of the things that I was really impressed about. Just Wilder in general with Drew McIntyre.
Right.
All of the times they were both center stage were amazing. I'm a huge fan of, the acrobatic type moves. So when he did the tornado DDT off of the barrier.
Yeah, very cool.
That was just, it was amazing, and they blew me away.
I know a lot of people aren't super happy about the Revival doing more stuff off the top rope and stuff like that, because their whole thing was all fists, no flips. But they ended up having a match where, he had to resort to doing that, and so having it as a regular part of their moveset, I don't think that's a bad thing.
Well, and all of their, like I said, back to them being, like, throwback or, like, nostalgic of, like, the older tag teams.
Exactly, yeah.
They are. Even their high rope moves, they're not doing flips or anything. The rope moves we got in this match were a frog splash, a clothesline off the shoulders.
Yeah.
And, like, they were very, like, classic moves. They weren't anything crazy. They weren't doing like swantons or anything like that. So I still feel like it kind of falls into their wheelhouse.
Yeah, exactly.
As being like the traditional like tag team.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked.
And I think if this is the kind of match that elevates this tag team division, because the tag team division isn't very good on Raw, if we're being honest.
Yeah, like we were saying earlier, and like matches like this will keep it going up, and I wouldn't be surprised if here in a few months they switch the Revival over to the title holders.
I think if you keep giving us quality matches like that, eventually people are going to notice, and they're going to say, no, I want the Revival to be on TV all the time, and so...
Yeah, and I definitely feel like that might be a possibility once the whole story arc with the... as Braun Strowman said, the Dogs of War and the Shield.
Mm-hmm, yeah, exactly.
I feel like once that plays out and they start trying new things, I feel like they could give the Revival the belts, and it would be really interesting.
And losing the titles is a good way to eventually pull the trigger on this whole Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler team up, because I think they're going to want to eventually break that up.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, Drew McIntyre is built for that Universal title. They're going to put it on him sometime.
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine if... It doesn't even really matter who in the triple threat gets the Universal title. Any of them versus Drew McIntyre would be an amazing match.
It really would be. And yeah, I can't wait for that match. I know a lot of people are not too thrilled, but I'm really excited for it. Next up, we had Bobby Lashley and Elias, which was precursed with the Kevin Owens show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got Leo Rush and them talking a little bit. It was pretty good. I like Leo Rush.
I like him too, and I've recently just kind of figured out where he's from with 205.
Exactly.
Because I'm going into the 205 and NXT shows to kind of expand my knowledge.
Fair enough. And of course, we want to cover every show here.
Yeah. So we just recently started watching it, I have. So I'll have a lot of the newer info, whereas Danny Marvelous will have a lot of the older information about threads going back.
Yeah, exactly.
Pre-Hell in a Cell, because that's pretty much when I started catching up on that stuff.
But yeah, this Bobby Lashley Elias match was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I like both of those guys already, so it just works out. The ending, I think, is lame. The Kevin Owens falling over and getting that DQ, come on.
Yeah. It was a little bit of a letdown.
But yeah, Bobby Lashley, of course, always looks strong. I mean, he beat Roman at Extreme Rules. And then Elias being able to go toe-to-toe with him even makes it him who... He's always been good on the mic, but his in-ring ability is kind of lacking most times, but...
I definitely agree. I like them both, and I feel like Bobby Lashley needs a good feud like this coming off of the stuff in the past. Like, don't get me wrong, the Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley stuff was okay.
It turned out okay. Like, the beginning, we were all like, eh.
I didn't mind the whole thing with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. The whole interviewing thing was kind of cringy, and I feel like it was done very well. And don't even want to talk about his sisters.
Oh,
but
gosh, let's not
I feel like this is one of the things that he needs. He needs a good feud. Yeah. And I also, I really like Leo Rush. I also think it's kind of weird that he's a heel, right?
He's a heel on 205 Live, but he's teamed with Bobby Lashley, who is a face.
Yeah, he's like a face. He's very much the good guy.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah.
Got a huge reaction, of course, because they were in Colorado.
Oh yeah, and of course Bobby's the hometown boy.
So he had a good reaction there, which I'm not surprised that they won because of that. But I kind of wish it would have been an actual pin, like you said, instead of the...
But I do like that means this feud is going on because it's unresolved. You can't say that he won by a clean fight. Like, you can't...
I would easily watch more of this feud.
Oh, exactly. And having Kevin Owens and Leo Rush backing these two guys up is...
Oh, yeah, because I like amazing. Kevin Owens. I feel like he flourishes, though, as part of a team.
Oh, most definitely.
He's good by himself, but yeah, like, him with Sami Zayn was real good.
Exactly.
Him when he was with Braun Strowman and trying to, like, be friends and then it turned to enemies. Like, that was even good. Just him having someone to bounce off of is really good for him. And, yeah, I always like Elias. I always love his bits, and so it's great to actually see him compete on a higher level.
Exactly. But anyway, next match was Nia Jax and Alicia Fox, and jeez.
I feel like most matches with Nia Jax are just throwaways.
I mean, come on, like, it's just so fast.
Yeah, she had the thing with Alexa Bliss. She had the thing with Ronda Rousey a little bit. But, like, I feel like because of the way they've built her persona and because of the people they keep putting her against, it's all of the matches are essentially the same. She goes in the ring, grabs the person, hucks him coast to coast, hucks him coast to coast again, Samoa drop. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how it is. And granted, this does make Nia Jax look good, and I'm always on board for more women's fights, but geez, I just don't care for this match at all.
I liked it a little bit. I just enjoyed seeing Alicia Fox get thrown around because I cannot stand her.
Fair enough. She is a proper heel.
I cannot stand her. Which I know is her job, but...
Yeah, exactly.
It just can be too much sometimes for me.
Fair enough. But then we get to
the
Raw's main event. All right. So
Which is a doozy.
Yeah, exactly. It was Shield. They fought against Baron Corbin and AOP. And of course, this match was set up earlier by Stephanie McMahon.
And left everybody guessing the whole time, which honestly, I did not even see this coming.
It is, I was like, oh, AOP's coming out. Like,
yeah,
the music hit, and I was like, really?
I didn't think it was going to be a tag team. I thought he was just going to grab two dudes from the back. Like, I could have seen, I know he already had a match, but because of the way, because it wasn't super long and intensive, I could have seen, like, Jinder Mahal. Like, I figured he was going to grab people who had issues with them.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
already previous.
But he just got two really big dudes.
And can we just talk about how tiny Drake Maverick looked with Baron Corbin and AOP?
Yeah.
Like, he's already a small guy. I think he's like 5'4".
Yeah, he's not very tall.
He's already very short
most
compared
to
the wrestlers.
Yeah, are tower over him.
But, like, he comes strutting out, and he's cool. I don't mind him. He's decent on the mic.
And I like that they're promoting managers.
Again, and I like that they're, I love the manager,
because
like,
it was just such a big part of, like, that early Golden Age stuff. Like the first WrestleMania.
That's how Paul Heyman got his career.
Yeah,
like, he's just being real good at talking on the mic.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I like the managers. But yeah, he just looked like a kid in a Halloween costume.
Yeah,
like, he looked like he was dressed as AOP for Halloween. I feel like they had to know, like, when they were like, let's give AOP a manager. Oh, wouldn't it be great if it was Drake Maverick? And they were like, let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. Which, granted, they had a manager in NXT who was Paul Ellering, who was really great. But I like Drake Maverick.
Yeah, like I said, I have no problem with him, and he's okay on the mic.
Yeah. And
so they approach the ring, and then we get Braun Strowman's theme, and the most anticlimactic thing I've ever seen with a chair.
Yeah.
They all three come out with chairs and look like they're ready.
That.
They look like they're ready to brawl. And I was like, oh, are they just gonna interrupt the match? And then they just pop the chairs and sit down right there.
Oh my god, it's great. Oh, it was just so ridiculous. And of course, Dolph had set up earlier with Dean Ambrose. He was like, "Hey man, you give us a sign and we'll hop in there with you."
Yeah.
Like, but they were, if we are being honest, Ambrose wasn't gonna turn heel this match.
Yeah, at least not this week.
Yeah. Like, because the Super Showdown is coming up, he's already scheduled for a match. They're not going to change.
And that match is already going to be insane. They're not going to change that last minute.
Yeah.
Now, exactly. I could see them having the heel turn be at that match.
Exactly. But
like somebody reaching for a tag and him just stepping back.
Yeah, exactly.
I could see that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because especially with something as iconic as the Shield, breaking it up is a big deal, so I could see them waiting for a pay-per-view.
Yeah, and especially since these overseas shows, they're getting a lot of money. These are a really big deal to WWE. Now, maybe, like, especially after Greatest Royal Rumble, we're not super thrilled about them, but it's a big deal. That's why they're having Undertaker and Triple H fight, so...
For the last time ever, air quotes included.
As we all know, last time was the end of an era.
Yeah. But I don't know, I'm excited for that. We can talk more about that.
Yeah. But what do you think of this episode of Raw overall, though?
I liked it. I enjoyed it. I haven't really been super disappointed with Raw. It's just, I feel like a lot of the things are lacking. I feel like there are more throwaway matches in Raw.
Yeah, exactly. Or especially throwaway matches that go on too long.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you do a throwaway match on SmackDown, it lasts a couple minutes. If you do one on Raw, they do it like 5 minutes.
Don't get me wrong. I love Finn Balor and I love Baron Corbin, but they didn't need a feud that long.
Oh, jeez, that was...
And all of their matches were real long.
Yeah, exactly, and it just kept going and going, eventually ending with the Demon. But then they fought again because Baron Corbin became general manager of Raw, and so...
But... Yeah, I also thought, one last note on Raw, I thought it was a little funny that Stephanie looks at Baron Corbin and is like, why'd you put yourself in a match? Put yourself in a match. Like, you see what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Granted, I get that she was like, don't put yourself in a title match.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was still funny that she was like, why'd you do that? I have a solution. Do that.
Yeah, exactly. That was a bit ridiculous.
I like Baron as the acting general manager, though. It's been a while since we've had a heel.
more interesting. Yeah. Like, no offense to what's his name, Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle, Dan.
Yeah, one of the most famous people in the wrestling business.
Yeah,
but Kurt Angle is a fine GM, but it feels like for the most part he would just get complained to by a heel and then put them in a match. Or get complained to by a face and then.
That's why heels are as popular as they are, because they don't care. Like they do stuff. They do stuff to get reactions.
Exactly.
So it's always great having a heel as the general manager because he's a little more unpredictable.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, anyway. So we get SmackDown this week, which opened amazingly.
Yes, it did. Truth TV,
which should be a weekly show. I would watch it.
It was really good, and of course, they hyped the mixed match challenge with this as well because Truth has Carmella as his co-host,
which I liked. It wasn't just like with Raw where they were like, these two are in the mixed match and now they fight. Like they did something a little more creative with it, which I think is neat.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, everybody loved Truth TV. 7-second dance breaks.
Daniel Bryan definitely loved it.
He was enjoying the heck out of that. But then, of course, Miz comes in and he's like, "This is my show. What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And
Truth's response was just
the best response. If you had a title belt, it would be mine now. But you don't. But you do have a TV show.
So I'm going to just take that. My favorite line from the beginning of SmackDown was Miz saying, "Truth, you're an idiot." And Truth responding, "Yeah, I'm an idiot with a talk show."
It was so funny.
I love that they brought R-Truth back.
And put him in more stuff to do.
He's always great. Don't get me wrong, I liked his whole backstage shenanigans looking for Carmella, and then the second Carmella trying to get his title match out. But I like that he's wrestling because he is athletic.
Dude, he's jacked.
Yeah,
he is huge.
I was looking into it. He's older than I thought he was.
Yeah, he's actually pretty old.
Yeah. I mean, old-ish. Like, Ric Flair and Hogan wrestled until they were in their 60s.
We're talking as far as active wrestlers go.
But, like, the stuff he does, being almost 50, is insane.
Exactly.
And he's always entertaining. He's got the weirdest one-liners and quotes.
He's just really entertained us for a very long time.
And I hope that once the Miz-Daniel Bryan feud is done, they do Truth and Miz, because it kind of seems like they're setting it up a little. And the two of them are so, like, such large people, like, with their, like, ego and their image, and they're such, like, charismatic, over-the-top people.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be an insanely entertaining feud.
Yeah, exactly. I think it really depends on what they do at Super Showdown. If they put Miz over and he gets the win, then I think they're going to build this till WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
With him and Daniel Bryan. Whereas if he loses, Daniel Bryan goes up, Miz is stuck down in the mid-card. You could do something with him and Truth. Maybe they go for the U.S. title. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I think it would be interesting if this all gets to the point where Miz has a belt and then Truth has a belt to take.
Yeah, exactly. And, of course, we've seen that dozens of times, and it's always been good.
Yeah.
Is good.
So we then have the match with Miz and Truth, which is a good match.
Yes, I actually very much enjoyed this match, but it was more hyping the Miz versus Daniel Bryan than it was.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially with the end where he was taunting Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, who was on commentary. So
yeah, and the ending the match with the Daniel Bryan move.
Exactly, with the running knee.
Yep.
But for the most part, this is a really good match. Miz cheats to win, which he said he was going to do anyway. But...
And he also taunts Daniel Bryan with the fact that he knows Daniel Bryan won't cheat.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I'm just more excited for another Miz Daniel Bryan match, and it has just been the gift that keeps on giving at this point.
It's kind of like when I was talking to you about. It's kind of like with Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler. Both of them, we've seen The Miz and Daniel Bryan and Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler go at it several times on their own. Mm-hmm. And it's never disappointing.
Exactly. I
have loved all of their matches.
Yeah, like, even when there's times that a feud just keeps going long and eventually you start disliking it, even in that situation, I can't ever say that I dislike a match with Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins.
Yeah, and that kind of, we bring that back to Miz and Daniel Bryan. They're both such technical wrestlers and so good at what they do that it doesn't matter how many times they have to get in the ring with each other. It's always going to be entertaining.
Exactly. Anyway, then eventually, of course, the Miz wins, and we get a backstage photo shoot, with good old Charlotte Flair, and she's taking some pictures, and boom, she gets jumped by Becky Lynch, the SmackDown Women's Champion,
which I feel like is the moment that really solidifies her heel status.
Exactly, because like a lot of people were making the argument, oh, Becky Lynch hasn't really turned heel. She just has a problem with Charlotte. She's just doing some Stone Cold stuff where he did heely things, but he was a babyface.
Yeah, and she just really dislikes Charlotte, and so that's where her focus is driven.
Yeah. But this whole episode really...
Yeah, there are a few more notes we'll get to later about
Becky as a heel, because honestly, even after she jumps Charlotte Flair, it's hard to say, she's just taking it out on one person. She's not a heel. It's like, no, she's a heel.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can stand up someone when they try to give you a handshake after you win.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're mad and you feel like they robbed you, and now you finally got your vindication.
Yeah, now it's my time. Like,
and
I can get
that's fine. But this was just blatant heel behavior.
Exactly.
And I would 100% buy that poster of Becky Lynch with her foot on Charlotte with the title belt.
That would be, it was great. Anyway, then, followed that, we got some more hype for the upcoming SmackDown Tag Team match that's going to be at Super Showdown as well. So we got Sheamus, and he took on Big E of the New Day.
Yeah, that was good. They had a little bit of banter before about how the New Day wants to play the hashtag Say Something Nice challenge, where they were using backhanded compliments on the members of the bar, and Sheamus interjected saying that this is why they're gonna win, because they're all about fighting, whereas the New Day is all about joking around and talking.
Honestly, I didn't think we'd ever be talking this much about Cesaro's nipples on WWE TV.
Yeah,
that's 2 weeks in a row.
That's a thing. Good old Swedish Jason Statham.
Yeah. It was so good.
But yeah, the match was good. I didn't mind the match.
Like, it was quick. It was quick.
They're another pairing that all five of them have interacted with each other enough that they know how to produce quality matches.
Yeah, of course, we saw the Bar versus the New Day back when they were doing the tournament.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, that match blew the roof off the house.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, they're always great, and this was no different. Honestly.
Yeah, it was a quality match. Then we get the, in my opinion, one of the highlights of SmackDown.
How dare you? This is the worst thing ever.
Oh, you don't like it?
Oh, wait, I was on the wrong one. But actually, I did like this.
Rusev calls out Aiden English. We get the response to his apparent heel turn.
Yeah, really.
From last week, and he came out to explain himself clad in Happy Aiden Day attire.
Even on his microphone, yeah.
Talking about how Rusev was nothing without Aiden English.
Yeah. The classic heel, saying you were nothing without me. I was always the one running things,
Yeah.
But I still enjoyed it, and of course he then lays the blame on Rusev's wife.
Yeah.
Lana.
With a couple of very nicely put together videos about how Aiden raised Rusev, and once Lana showed up,
Lana tore him down.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, it was good, and of course then the famous, what about Milwaukee?
Yeah, and of
Are
course,
you going to tell him about Milwaukee?
And of course, Lana has no clue what he's talking about, allegedly.
Allegedly.
And then for the rest of the night, I'm pretty sure that's the thing that was chanted the most by the crowd. Didn't matter whose match, just Milwaukee.
Yeah,
Milwaukee.
It was that in Truth TV all night.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, like, I'm a little sad that Rusev Day is broken up at this point.
Yeah, they're such an iconic pair.
Yeah, exactly. But it's only been like a year.
Once Lana
and they didn't even have a title during that time.
Yeah. And once they started doing stuff with Lana, I kind of saw it coming. I just didn't know when they were going to pull the trigger on it.
Exactly. And frankly, they lasted longer than I thought WWE was going to keep them around.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I'm excited to see what they do with the feud.
Same. I'm exactly in the same camp. Now, though.
Oh, this is what you thought I was talking about.
The match I thought you were talking about, and I was going to be like, how dare you this?
Good old Absolution versus the Empress and Glow.
Oh my god, it was horrible. I hated everything about it. Iconics on commentary. I don't even dislike the Iconics, but I hate this.
I dislike the Iconics.
I know you do, but it's just, first off, the Naomi Asuka backstage stuff is always really dorky and lame.
It's so cringy. They literally could have just taken the angle of Asuka, being the one who seeks out people who are of her caliber and associates with them, like she did with Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch.
Exactly.
And just been like, Naomi, I think you are of the caliber, and I feel like together we could get a title belt.
But instead
they were just lost in translation the whole time.
Oh, it was so bad. It's teriyaki?
No,
you want me to go?
It was...
Oh, God.
It felt so forced.
And the worst part about this, in my opinion, is not only that this is happening, but that now, to hype up their match at Super Showdown, they have knocked down Absolution even more than they already have been. And I really like Absolution. They were great on Raw.
Absolution, I feel like, has struggled probably... if not the worst, close to the worst since the Superstar shakeup.
It's just been really bad.
They have had little to no matches. The matches they've had, they've lost.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they might have won one of them might have won a 1v1.
Yeah, exactly. Something like
or
that.
Like a singles match.
Maybe like Mandy Rose. They're trying to push her a little bit.
They just aren't doing as much. I get why they switched them over so they could have the whole thing with Paige, but
yeah, exactly.
That was why. And then once they got them there, they were just like, "We got nothing for you."
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like now we finally have segments with the bar in them again, but they came over to SmackDown and then we didn't see them for 2 months.
I feel like that's just another reason why SmackDown's tag team division is so good. Because you have a group like The Bar who are getting put to the sideline because we have so many other great tag teams.
Yeah, exactly. And think about the current feud and who's left out of it. When you have the Usos on the bench, that means you better have some top tier quality in the game, and frankly, SmackDown does.
Yeah.
All right. But then we come to Shinsuke Nakamura versus Ty Dillinger.
I was so excited for this match when I saw it.
Exactly.
Because, Ty had the R-Truth thing going on.
Exactly.
Where he was backstage.
He did some backstage stuff, yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, I like Ty Dillinger. He's fine.
Oh, yeah.
I saw he was in a match, and I was excited. And I was just happy that, hey, Ty Dillinger's wrestling again.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
Hell, Shinsuke is wrestling again.
Yeah. Oh, nothing like leaving a title holder out of a pay-per-view. That was...
There's no reason for it, honestly.
Yeah. Then the match started, and it was going all right. I didn't mind it.
No, it was actually really good, but...
Then the Viper showed up.
Yeah, and then Randy Orton had to come and spoil it all, which, granted, adds more to his heel character.
And he even, held up 2 fingers, kind of showing that this was number 2.
Yeah.
And then just completely denied it after the fact. Was just saying that perfect 10 crap pisses me off. That's...
Yeah, exactly. But it's there's just so much that I don't understand with this. Where is any of this going? Because you figure Randy Orton's got to do something, and he's hanging around this United States title for some reason, but he's not feuding with Shinsuke, and...
If anything, I thought he was going to break it. I knew that Randy Orton interfered with the match beforehand. Mm-hmm. If anything, I would think he would go after Shinsuke and make Shinsuke his new target.
Yeah, exactly.
Go after the title belt.
But he goes after Ty Dillinger, who hasn't been on TV in weeks?
Yeah, it doesn't really go along with his destroying the idols. Because
that's the whole thing. There's no legend killer with Ty Dillinger. He's at the beginning of his career.
Yeah. It makes sense for Jeff Hardy. Because he's been around forever.
Exactly.
And he's picking up steam, and he's top of his game.
And they built that to a Hell in a Cell match, which was amazing, so...
Yeah, I hope Jeff is still okay.
I think he's taking some time off because he was...
he hit that table hard.
Yeah, and he had some back injuries before that, so... Which,
yeah.
As you can understand, swantons are hard.
We appreciate you, Jeff, but don't kill yourself.
But yeah, I just don't know where this is going. If he fights with Shinsuke, that's cool, but then Ty Dillinger gets left out again. And
even if you wanted to focus on Randy Orton and not Shinsuke or Ty Dillinger, give him like a throwaway title match and put the title on him, so at least you can have the title moving places. Or, like, the title holder actively doing things.
Actively defending his title.
Instead of Shinsuke, who wasn't in Hell in a Cell, cut a promo about the United States of Nakamura, and then didn't wrestle that episode.
Yeah, exactly.
And then just have him come out and fight someone. Granted, if... Like, Ty Dillinger, why? Why Ty Dillinger?
Yeah, exactly. Which,
if
don't
they
get
were
me wrong,
going to let Ty Dillinger win, that's fine, because they're going to put him over, you know,
yeah.
but they didn't even give him a chance to win.
Yeah, it's just a whole mess, this whole thing is, and I just don't understand what they're even thinking with this segment. But
which is unfortunate, because I really like Shinsuke, and...
I like everybody involved with this segment. It's just that they're not doing anything with them.
Yeah, I feel like all three of them could be doing more interesting stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, following that one was... Oh, the Becky-Lana match. Which leads us to another one of the moments in this episode that kind of helps solidify Becky Lynch's heel status.
Yeah, exactly. She's
where
targeting someone, not Charlotte.
Yeah, where she kind of out of nowhere approaches Lana and is basically telling her that because she attempts to wrestle in the women's division, that her business is Becky Lynch's business, and that she should watch herself, or Rusev will have to carry her bags out.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is kind of out of nowhere. I get that heels can just, like... That's what heels do. They just target people and start taking shots. But I feel like there could have been a little bit of build-up instead of her just being like, yo, fight me.
Yeah. Which, granted, I think a lot of us have at times thought, gee, Lana, she's not really a good wrestler. But she actually did fine in this match.
I mean, she's better at wrestling than she is at accents.
You should notice that unless she says Rusev now, it's just gone.
Any like R at the beginning of a word, she'll roll. Yeah. But everything else, she's just California. Just
I got tired of the accent anyways.
Which is fine, yeah, but
it is a little funny.
Yeah, I think it would be hilarious if they brought that into this whole Aiden thing. They're like, she even dropped the accent, Rusev.
Like classic Triple H and Kofi Kingston.
Oh, man.
Aren't you Jamaican?
Yeah. Oh, man. I don't know. The match was okay, but I feel like it was just kind of a weird target.
Yeah.
I feel like they just used Lana to kind of like show that Becky is more of a heel.
And that she dominates. Because,
yeah, oh yeah.
Because, let's be honest, Lana was never going to go toe-to-toe with Becky.
What? Which leads us to the last bit of SmackDown, which was the contract signing for the AJ Styles Samoa Joe match.
What a way to end the show.
Yeah. AJ was talking a whole bunch of smack about, where are you at, Samoa Joe? Oh, that's right, you jump people from behind. Well, I got eyes in the back of my head tonight. And then the screen lights up. And
Joe is at AJ Styles' home in Georgia. And he's cutting a promo.
Cutting a promo about traveling all over the world. It brings us to places we never thought. Like the Styles household.
Oh, so good. So creepy.
Listen, I think Samoa Joe is just the total package. He's so insanely good in the ring. His promos are borderline scary.
Oh, yeah.
He's so good on the mic.
And honestly, it's been a while since like a heel legitimately scared me. It's more like, oh, they're annoying or oh, they're a dick. But
yeah.
This one is like, whoa, this is creepy and scary.
It felt very Attitude Era.
Yeah.
Because you know, the Attitude Era, there's episodes where somebody goes to another wrestler's house and kicks the door in.
Yeah, exactly.
And like drags him off the couch and starts beating him up. It felt with him with the camera and just being like, hey, guess where I'm at, pal?
Yeah. Let me ring the door. Daddy's home.
Yeah. And then just the cut to black. The whole time AJ just losing his mind in the ring.
So good.
And I'm wondering, with Paige being a face manager.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
General
manager.
Yeah.
If she's gonna if he's gonna get reprimanded at all.
Yeah, exactly. Because
in the real world, that's like harassment and assault. If you get restraining orders for that stuff.
I mean, there's plenty of stuff that they've done.
Well, yeah, obviously. It's obviously over dramatized. But like in the real world, stuff like that is a felony.
Yeah, exactly.
And so like it'll be interesting to see if Paige is like, shouldn't have done that, Joe, or if she's just gonna be like, AJ, fix your problem.
Yeah. Oh, well, anyway.
That's Raw and SmackDown. Then we get the Wednesday shows.
Well, first we had the Mixed Match Challenge.
Oh, yeah, we do have the Mixed Match Challenge.
And there were only 2 matches. First one was what was eventually named on this episode was Country Dominance with Mickie James and Bobby Lashley, which
Don't even get me started.
So disappointing. Because Sasha is injured. Because I was really rooting for that team. But
and if they were going to pick a name, they should have just done Mickey Bobby.
Mickey Bobby. Like Ricky. Like,
it would have been so good. Renee Young joked about it, and then Mickey joked about it.
Yeah, exactly. I was really home. But honestly... And then they were up against Mahalisha, which is Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox. And
which I actually like
Sunil
that name,
Singh.
I'll be honest.
Yeah, like, it's fine.
And then Sunil Singh was just there.
Yeah. Despite getting the crap beat out of him yesterday by Jinder Mahal.
They're just, like, made up out of nowhere?
Yeah, exactly, and that's why...
I feel like it would have been more interesting if... Yes, it's a Facebook Live show, and you've got to know that it's not going to get as many views as Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah, exactly.
But, like, keep the kayfabe consistent.
Yeah, at least there's people that watch everything. Like
that would have been dope if, like, Jinder Mahal got knocked down and, like... Bobby Roode went to Bobby Lashley went to like do an elbow drop or something off the rope, and like Seal pulled Jinder Mahal out of the ring.
Yeah, and
then Jinder turns around and like pushes him and is like, "I don't want your help." Like that would have like it would have went with the story they had set up.
Yeah, exactly. But instead they didn't. And honestly, this match was. I didn't like this at all, really.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan.
Like, I know they do the sillier things on Mixed Match Challenge, which I'm fine with. I like some of that stuff. But the push-ups was like, ooh, that's kind of cringy.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the match wasn't much better. It was okay. Like,
I was super excited about the next one, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's Fabulous Truth versus Asuka.
I think those two might be my 2 favorite teams in the Mixed Match Challenge.
Mine, yes.
I really liked Team Little Big and Team, what is it? The Moon or whatever, Monster Eclipse or whatever.
Oh yeah, because Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, whatever the Braun Strowman Ember Moon team is called is cool. I like them both.
Exactly.
But I just feel like these two are like the two so far in this.
Exactly. But yeah, this match was good. Even the funny bits that they threw in, like, whereas the other match failed with the joking bits, this one really succeeded.
Which I feel like that partially lends itself to the fact that Bobby Lashley and Jinder Mahal, like, in general, are a little more serious.
Oh, yeah.
Granted, Jinder Mahal got kind of goofy when he was doing the Shanti stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But, like, they're usually just cut and dry. Like, I'm here to wrestle, I'm going to beat you up.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas R-Truth and The Miz are goofy.
Yeah, at least a little bit, yeah.
Or, like, they do crazy stuff, and so it's a little bit more believable.
Yeah, same with Asuka and Carmella.
Yeah. So it's a little bit more believable when they pull out the jokey moves almost.
Yeah. And of course, Team Asuka ended up winning, but I like both these teams too.
I do feel like I'm going to enjoy this Mixed Match Challenge a lot more than the last one, because we knew they weren't going to break Asuka's streak on a Facebook Live show.
They most certainly were not.
So this time I feel like it'll be a little bit more interesting because we don't really know who's going to win.
Yeah.
Whereas last time it was like, okay, either Asuka and The Miz are going to win or people are going to riot.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, then we do come to the Wednesday shows at this point, starting with 205 Live. Now, our first match was Noam Dar versus Lio Rush. There were a couple of things that they were talking about prior to this match, but honestly, this was a pretty good match. Lio was flipping around like he does on Raw, and honestly, Noam Dar is a pretty good wrestler all the time, so
Yeah, I like what little I've seen of Lio Rush, and like I said, I'm still kind of new to the 205 NXT scene, so I'll get more familiar with the faces and the names as we go on, but...
Yeah, exactly, but... And yeah, they end up giving the win to Lio Rush, and I think his willingness to be on 2 shows, being the manager for Bobby Lashley and wrestle on this show, I think that just proves how much WWE likes him going forward.
And I also think it's kind of neat because, yes, everything's connected. And yes, they have the Superstar shakeup, and they now have co-branded pay-per-views. But the shows are very much inclusive to their own show.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's always neat when you have, like, this instance where you have Lio Rush who's on 2 shows.
Exactly.
So it kind of shows that the whole universe is still connected.
Exactly. And they made a point about that last week when Drake Maverick said, I don't care how many shows you're on, you have to wrestle on my show too.
Yeah.
So anyway, then we had a backstage interview between Cedric Alexander and Buddy Murphy to hype their match at Super Showdown next week.
I love Cedric Alexander so much. He's such a technical wrestler.
Yeah, and Buddy Murphy and him have had phenomenal matches, and I can't wait to see them fight again. But it just, honestly, their last meetup between these two felt so much more heated than this one. This one feels like, oh yeah, we threw a match together. Yeah.
Very like last minute.
Yeah. Because obviously Buddy Murphy's from Australia, and so they're letting the Australians fight. And I was like,
yeah. They did stuff with the Mighty, which we'll get to when we get to NXT. But like I said, because I'm still new to this stuff, do 205 Live and NXT get shows in like the pre-show for like pay-per-views?
205 Live does. They usually have their Cruiserweight Championships for some pay-per-views.
Gotcha.
They had one at SummerSlam and WrestleMania. So.
Yeah, I knew they had. I remember seeing Cedric Alexander wrestle before pay-per-view.
Yeah, exactly.
But I just didn't know what the chances were of them, like, not necessarily pandering, but like giving the Australians chances to wrestle in Australia.
And of course, they're doing the same thing with Iconics over on SmackDown. So. But then we go to a squash match, which featured Brian Kendrick, who was accompanied by Drew Gulak and Jack Gallagher, and it ended in 2 seconds, and then Drew Gulak beat up on the jobber for a little bit, but honestly, it was just like, these are basically the biggest heel group that we have on 205 Live right now.
And we're just throwing cannon fodder at them.
Yeah, it's like, congrats, the heels are still heels.
Cool, you did it.
It's like, they're still dicks. Congratulations.
Yeah. What I mean is, I guess it's okay because you still get to see them wrestle, but like feuds are always great.
Yeah, exactly. But then we get to the main event of 205 Live, which was Mustafa Ali and Hideo Itami, who are both fantastic wrestlers, especially Hideo Itami. But honestly, the crowd was not into this at all.
Yeah, just being bored the whole time.
Yeah. Even like when the final move, Mustafa Ali does his 405 spin onto Hideo Itami, who's on the apron, and even it was amazing. But yeah, the crowd just didn't care. But unfortunately, the match ended a bit anticlimactic with a double count out. But feud keeps going. I'm excited to see these two fight again, perhaps in front of a crowd that is willing to actually cheer for awesome
sometimes
stuff.
Sacrificing the win to just further the feud is more entertaining.
Exactly. But anyway, 205 Live, it was a fine show. I think they're suffering from Mixed Match Challenge being in front of that crowd before they are. So it's even longer than it used to be. So.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, but then we get to NXT, which started out kind of weird. Usually NXT is very eager to get into a match, but they weren't. They took their sweet time this time.
Yeah, I noticed. I actually had talked to you about this a little bit because I'm saving most of our discussion for this, about how I think the first actual match with a winner was like halfway through with the Mighty and the Street Profits.
Exactly. And it was weird because even the squash match before that was 12 minutes into the show, and it's like, wow, Did we really have that many promos and interviews and
Yeah,
stuff?
and the Aleister Black investigation thing was like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Which, granted, I like the Aleister Black investigation storyline.
It seems cool.
It's been giving us a lot of good feuds. EC3, Lars Sullivan, and there's been a whole lot with that. But honestly, like, it feels weird that it's been like a month and a half and we still don't know anything about it.
Yeah, that's
fair. Like, we literally have zero answers about it, despite them hyping it up constantly. But it's still something I really like. But then we get another interview with Johnny Gargano. Not really of anything of note, in my opinion, but it sets up a match between his wife, Candice LeRae, and Lacey Evans, which I'm actually pretty excited for.
Yeah.
Those two are really great. Then we finally got another interview with Velveteen Dream. And of course, he hypes himself up a little bit, but
then just refuses to talk about the investigation.
Yeah, exactly. And the big thing is that it just keeps pushing the Aleister Black mystery that we've been dealing with.
Which is fine for a catalyst and for feuds and stuff, like you were saying.
Yeah, exactly. It is weird that they did so much of it at the beginning of the show rather than spread out through it.
It was just like front loaded with content instead of match content.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, then we get Lars Sullivan in a match, an easy squash match.
That guy is just a monster.
He just destroys this jobber, but eventually gets jumped by EC3, who is already a big dude, and now he's taking on somebody even bigger than him. I am really excited to see where this
feel
goes.
like that match will be neat. EC3 seems like a high-octane wrestler.
Yeah, he's so funny because his whole gimmick is, I'm in the top 1%. But he's a face that everybody loves.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is. Oh, but yeah. And we get another interview with William Regal. And he meets up with Nikki Cross, who is crazy.
Yeah. As someone who is new to NXT, she threw me off. It was like, she's psychotic.
And
she's just rambling.
Yeah, it brings a rematch between her and Bianca Belair, who they had a match last week, I believe, and it ended in a disqualification or a double count out. Yeah. But anyway, then we finally get our first match with a winner. The Mighty versus Street Profits.
Yeah. Australia.
Yeah, exactly. But my favorite part of this match, they walk up, they stare each other down, then boom!
Just open hand.
You are not
slapped him.
It was so good. But Montez Ford's flipping all around like he always does. And
yeah, that was a really good match. I liked both of those teams a lot. They were really in sync with each other.
Yeah, and at the beginning of the match, it was all about Street Profits. They were just demolishing them. But then they actually turned it into a good back and forth, which Mighty ended up coming away with the win.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we get Vanessa Bourne and Kairi Sane,
which was the match I enjoyed the most from NXT.
Fair
because
enough.
Someone who is new to NXT, that's when you think of NXT, that's what everybody says. So like Kairi Sane,
she's
Kairi
so
Sane, Kairi Sane.
Yeah.
So I got to see a match and it was great. I love her presence and she is just adorable.
She's so cute.
And her like in-ring technique is amazing.
It's so good, and that elbow looks painful.
Yeah, it sure does.
Horrible. But
the DDT was pretty good too, where she essentially got horizontal and then slammed her down.
I actually did like that Vanessa Bourne actually adds heat to the match immediately.
Oh yeah, just grabs the hat.
Yeah, exactly. Because otherwise it's just another throwaway match. But this time it's a throwaway match that actually feels like Kairi does want to beat the crap out of Vanessa Bourne.
You see her get mad. You see her go from like happy Kairi Sane to like confused Kairi Sane. Like, why would you do that to my hat?
Yeah.
That's my beloved hat.
That's my hat.
And then she's like, you gonna get it from my hat.
And of course, then after the match, Kairi Sane, of course, wins. But
Shayna comes out.
Shayna Baszler comes out, and of course they hype their match for Evolution, which I am super pumped for.
Yeah, I'm excited for that too, and I'm not surprised in the slightest because they have to fill a card.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, the NXT Women's Championship I would consider one of the most prestigious women's championships. So
yeah, definitely,
it belongs on that pay-per-view.
I'm excited to see the matches. There's been very little about the card for Evolution.
We
know a few of the matches. We know like the Mickie James Lita match. We know the
Alexa Bliss Trish
Stratus,
and now we know this one.
We got this one,
but I feel like they are hyping Crown Jewel, which comes after.
Yeah, definitely. Iconics are gonna get a match at Evolution. Probably.
I don't know if they're gonna do a tag team division, if they're gonna announce a women's division at Evolution.
I was waiting for them that to be their thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the week before Evolution, just like, hey, women's tag division.
Yeah, exactly.
We're doing this. We're gonna have a tournament this week.
But there's just been no word about this pay-per-view at all, honestly.
Yeah.
Of course, will also have the Mae Young Classic final match in there.
Oh yeah, that's right. The Mae Young Classic final is going to be at Evolution.
Exactly, which is going to be so
good. It's going to be real good. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see as more word comes out. But how do we know how long it is? Is it like the normal length of a pay-per-view?
I would assume so.
So what, like 4?
It depends. They might do like a classic 2.5 hours, like pay-per-views used to be.
Yeah.
But if it's WWE, so they could easily stretch that to 3.5, 4 hours.
Yeah, so we're looking at like a 2 to 4 hour
deal
window,
yeah. which
means we're gonna have a lot of matches. I'm hoping that because of how long in advance and how big of a deal this is, they take their time with choreographing the matches and make everything look good. Yeah. Because
we
don't need another. Greatest Royal Rumble.
Oh God, no, we do not. But yeah, WWE just hype your women's division.
Yeah,
that's not a hard thing to do.
It's really not, especially
good.
Especially since they've made the shift from the calling them divas to superstars.
Yeah, exactly.
They've just changed the whole attitude of how the women's division functions.
Exactly.
And I like that because you can just say like, yeah, these superstars like Alexa Bliss. You don't have to say like the superstars like Roman Reigns and the divas Alexa Bliss. Like they're all under the same.
Fair enough.
They're all in the same caliber.
All right, but then we get to the final match of NXT. This Otis Dozovic, who is from the tag team Heavy Machinery, versus the NXT champ Tommaso Ciampa.
I thought Ciampa was going down. I thought Ciampa was losing this match. It wasn't a title match, so I wasn't I wasn't predicting he was going to keep his title.
Yeah.
It was a pretty back and forth match.
It really was, and they really put Otis over.
Oh yeah, and then Otis just started dominating to the point where Ciampa just grabs his belt and is like, "I'm out."
Yeah, and then his partner had to push him back, but then Tommaso Ciampa gets a couple of those hanging DDTs.
Yeah, he starts picking up steam and just ends up taking it.
Yeah, he takes the match, and but I really enjoyed that match.
And it was so good.
It was really good. It was definitely a contender for me as far as my match of the week goes.
Ciampa was just so impressive.
He always is, and he's a horrible heel. He's a great heel, but he's just this horrible person.
Yeah, he is very good at being a jackass.
Exactly. I love it.
Which is the best way to be a heel. It's just it's when everyone hates you, you're doing your job right.
Exactly. He's a proper heel, as we say.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So then we got the Mae Young Classic,
which has been amazing. This whole first round has been good, but I will say that this week in particular seemed to have closer matches. I knew who was going to win each of these matches, in my opinion. I knew going in who were more favored. I knew who people wanted to see more of in this, and I feel like there were, instead of a good back and forth, they were hyping more of one person rather than the other.
Oh, yeah.
Which has not been the case for any of the others, in my opinion.
There's kind of almost like favoritism to certain people.
Yeah. So, like, we had the first match, which was Rachel Evers and Hiroyo Matsumoto. And Matsumoto is great. She is the walking god, the woman's god, the female Godzilla or something like that.
That's her, like, in-ring title.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty good.
And she's great, and she dominated this whole match. Rachel Evers had a couple good runs in it, but for the most part, it was all about Matsumoto. And I'm actually kind of surprised that they made this match because Evers was in the Mae Young Classic last year and didn't get very far. So I figured they have a returning person, maybe push him back up a bit more. But then they decided to go with Matsumoto. So, But anyway, then we move on to Tainara Conti. I might be saying that wrong, but she is fantastic.
Tainara Conti.
Yeah, and Jessie Elavan, who was she could throw her weight around, but she was like cutesy.
Oh yeah,
which I really liked. But Conti uses the joint manipulation and all those judo moves, and they look like they hurt, like really bad. Anyway, but then there was that slingshot to the mat, which I thought was so good. But they really hyped Conti up going into the Mae Young Classic on NXT, and so I figured Conti was going to win, and she dominated most of this match as well. We get to the third match, which was Isla Dawn versus Nicole Matthews, and honestly, like, it was a fine match. I thought it was probably one of the weakest of this first round, but not to take anything away from the women that were competing. They were fantastic. But then we get to the final one, and I really liked this match, even though it was so quick and so one-sided. It was Io Shirai versus Zia Brookside.
Oh, I think this is the only one I watched.
Yeah.
I think I saw this on YouTube.
It was so good, but they just fed Zia to Io Shirai.
Yeah.
Like, she was hitting Shirai with elbows and stuff, and Shirai's just like, nope, that doesn't even affect me.
It was... so one-sided.
Yeah, exactly. And granted, like, Io Shirai is probably one of, if not the best women's competitor in the game right now.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of predictions of her taking the whole thing.
Oh, exactly. I would not be surprised if they do that. And, of course, she just signed with WWE, and they're gonna... I see her win the whole thing. They're gonna just keep putting her over week after round after round, in my opinion.
It was that one. I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing, but yeah, like I said, I watched that one match on YouTube, and it's such a good match.
Yeah, she looks fantastic. Some of those moves were really
very
making
technical.
Me like, ooh,
yeah, very technically
really made
sound.
Me cringe for how hard that looks. Anyway,
so those were the shows for the week.
Indeed, we have gone through every show so far.
Now we have a little post-show discussion.
Yeah.
We're going to try to do each week. That comprises of a few things.
Yeah.
One of them is the match of the week,
which I'm sure most of the people who are listening know already that we both picked the Raw Tag Team Championship.
Oh yeah, that was such a barn burner.
It really was.
It was so back and forth, and like I knew in my heart, I was just like, Dolph and Drew aren't going to lose this match because they need them to have the title. But there were a few times where I was like, are Dolph and Drew going to lose this match?
Yeah, exactly. And I think the fact that it can make anybody think that is a big in your favor.
And I love Dolph Ziggler so much. He's
great.
He's so good. He's charismatic. He's good at what he does.
So good, man.
Such a good competitor. And then, like I said, the Revival just impressed me.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then we're going to pick our best superstar of the week. Who do you think had the best week for you? Anyone from any different show. I'll go with mine first. It's Io Shirai. They put her over that Mae Young Classic. She looks like she's poised to go the entire way. Like, she's really something fantastic, and they are going to push her like crazy.
Yeah, her match was really good, and I feel like I tend to agree with you. I feel like she is on her way to just making it big.
Oh, yeah. Of course, she's already huge overseas, but...
My superstar of the week is actually part of a tag team. I think, again, kind of going back to our favorite match of the week, I feel like Wilder knocked it out of the park.
The Revival in general were so good.
Like, the Revival as a whole were good, but a lot of the moments in that match that instantly come to mind when I think of the match are just... Wilder is in the middle of it.
Fair enough.
So that's going to be my pick for that.
All right, and then we're going to have to pick our... Who had the worst week, and I think it's
pretty obvious.
Yeah, Brie Bella had a bad week. The fact that this is blowing up so much hinders her career.
Oh, definitely. This is one of those things that, despite everyone being okay and friendship
prevailing,
yeah, people aren't going to forget about this anytime soon.
Exactly, and I think that's going to be, unfortunately, a common discussion point for going forward, especially on like Twitter and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, but then we finally get to our question of the week, and this is just where we answer a question that we think is a little bit fun. So, as we know, Rey Mysterio has gotten re-signed to the WWE, and they basically have said that they're just waiting to put him in somewhere. They just don't know where they want to put him so far. So, I want us to pick your first opponent for Rey Mysterio.
Honestly, I kind of agree with your choice.
All right, yeah.
I feel like your choice is...
My choice is Randy Orton.
And I feel like, granted, we did just talk about how Randy Orton in the whole Ty Dillinger thing was inconvenient and not really working because he just started. But I feel like having Rey Mysterio coming back and maybe him getting a squash match right out the gate, and then Randy Orton interrupting that.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, if you're trying to take down legacies, who's a bigger legacy than Rey Mysterio?
Exactly.
Or, like, I could see almost Shinsuke being his first...
Oh, that would be good.
His first match.
Exactly.
And then, like, build a small rivalry there, and then have Rey Mysterio take the title.
Oh, that would be...
And then have Rey Mysterio with the title... And then maybe during the rematch clause, in the middle of the rematch, for Randy Orton interferes, and because he already washed off all of Jeff Hardy's face paint, so his next thing is he's going to try to remove the mask.
Oh, that's right. He's going to try to remove.
So, like, the whole, like, him trying to demask Rey Mysterio, I feel like would be a huge deal.
Yeah, it would be, and especially Rey's an older guy now, so it's probably coming closer to the end of his career than he is the beginning.
Yeah, definitely.
I think having one last match where you possibly even get demasked is a big storyline.
Like, one thing about that is, I could see it headlining a pay-per-view.
It should,
Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton, if Rey loses, he gets unmasked.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that'd be a huge deal. Rey loses, he gets unmasked, and Randy gets the title belt if he's a United States champion at that point. Yeah. Like, that's such, like, an invested match.
Exactly. It writes itself. Like,
also, Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton are both very technically strong.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like their matches would just be quality.
Exactly. They always kill it, so.
But that's my take, which we tend to agree on a lot of stuff as far as who we favor and who we don't.
Yeah.
And so...
Even though you hate on my heels.
There's... Yeah.
It's fine. It's completely fine. Everybody likes their own wrestlers, but...
What can I say? I'm a face.
Yeah, it's what you like. But yeah, so this concludes this week's episode of the Weekly Wrestling Chat.
And our last little bit with the match of the week, the best and worst superstar, and the questions of the week. We're posting this in several different places. So if one of the places we're going to drop this is on YouTube. So if you're listening to this on YouTube, feel free to drop a comment.
Hey, yeah. Tell us your match of the week, your superstars. If you want to pose questions to us that you want us to answer on the podcast, then yeah.
If you want to email us, we're going to get an email set up, and we'll probably drop that in the next episode.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe if we get enough responses, we can add a little segment to the end of this post-show wrap-up that's answering questions through email.
Oh, yeah, that'd be so good.
So yeah, this is the first episode, and yeah, we're just going to go from here and get things a little more polished as we go.
Yeah, well...
So, signing off, this is Nick the Iceman.
And I'm Danny Marvelous.
And this was your weekly wrestling chat. Thanks, guys.